Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're exploring something deeply personal, yet universally experienced. We're diving into the unsettling, invisible crisis happening quietly inside almost every modern mind. You know, a strange thing has happened to humanity, and honestly, most of us didn't even notice it arriving. There was no single moment, no loud warning sign. Instead, it just kind of slipped into our lives through those glowing screens we carry with us absolutely everywhere.
Think about it. You sit down to work, or maybe you're just taking a quick breather. You unlock your phone for a fast check. Just one single innocent notification, right? But that message leads to an app, the app leads to a video, and the video drops you straight into scrolling. Suddenly, 40 minutes have just vanished into a digital rabbit hole. And the most terrifying part of all this? Nothing unusual happened. It felt completely, perfectly normal.
So, what used to be a momentary distraction has quietly become our default state of living. I mean, we literally carry entire worlds of stimulation in our pockets, getting hit with new information every single second. But somewhere along the line, you've probably noticed a shift. Sitting down to read a book suddenly feels like this monumental task. Deep, uninterrupted thinking, it leaves you completely exhausted. Just being present in a room without instinctively reaching for a screen feels increasingly difficult. The question isn't whether our attention is changing anymore. The real question is, why? Well, to really understand this, we have to look backward. See, our brains are basically ancient prediction machines, built to constantly seek out change. If you were standing in a forest, say 10,000 years ago, paying attention to novelty, like a rustle in the bushes or a new source of food, that was literally a matter of life and death. The humans who noticed changes survived. But today, that exact same survival mechanism is trapped in a digital world. Human technology has dangerously outpaced human psychology. Our brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do, hunt for novelty. But the modern world is drowning us in an artificial, infinite supply of it.
And that brings us to a surprisingly simple, yet honestly chilling psychological trap. Previous generations never had to solve the problem of keeping a human being's attention captured indefinitely. But today's digital platforms, they've completely mastered it. How do they pull it off? They just make absolutely sure your curiosity never, ever gets to rest.
It's this rapid descent from simple curiosity into something that deeply resembles compulsion. You unlock your device for a very specific purpose, but the interface itself is designed to keep you moving. You swipe and you discover a shocking story. You refresh and a beautiful image pops up. Within seconds, your original purpose completely evaporates, entirely driven by an architecture that never lets the mind settle. And here's the thing. It's not because you lack willpower. It's because modern technology has essentially reverse-engineered the human nervous system. Psychologists actually have a name for this. They call it variable reinforcement. And it is the exact same mechanism used in casino slot machines. Think about it. When you swipe your screen, you have absolutely no idea what you're going to get. Most content is just average. But occasionally, you hit the jackpot, a truly hilarious video or a fascinating piece of news. Because the reward is entirely unpredictable, your attention remains powerfully, almost addictively engaged. And here is the dark reality of that loop. Long after your actual enjoyment fades away, you keep swiping. Have you ever noticed that you're not even having fun anymore while scrolling? Fatigue sets in, your eyes are tired, yet you just cannot stop. You aren't chasing pleasure anymore. You are trapped inside the anticipation of what the very next swipe might bring. This endless stream has caused the complete elimination of everyday boredom. For all of human history, boredom was just a normal part of life. We stared out windows, we waited, we daydreamed. Today, boredom lasts maybe a few seconds. Standing in line, phone. Waiting for your coffee, phone. Riding an elevator for 10 seconds, phone. We have violently replaced any moment of silence with immediate bright stimulation. But there's a severe hidden cost to this constant entertainment. By escaping the discomfort of boredom, we are actively destroying the exact conditions required for creativity, self-awareness, and emotional processing. Boredom wasn't just empty time, it was a psychological necessity. It was the space where your mind processed the day, solved complex problems, and generated brand new ideas. By eliminating mental stillness, we are losing the very space where our deepest thoughts are born. Now, to justify all this constant stimulation, we've bought into a celebrated modern illusion. The idea that being busy is exactly the same as being efficient. Our culture tells us that answering emails while eating, watching videos, and checking messages is somehow a sign of peak productivity. We actually pride ourselves on doing multiple things at once. But cognitive psychology reveals a much starker reality. Human beings rarely multitask. Instead, our attention aggressively jumps and fractures. You do a bit of work, then check a message. You jump back to work, then a notification pulls you away. You aren't actually doing these things simultaneously. You are constantly, repeatedly interrupting yourself. Each switch seems minor in the moment, but cumulatively, they create a fractured mind where deep, sustained focus becomes nearly impossible.
And that's a massive problem. Because true innovation, meaningful conversations, and personal breakthroughs require the exact type of sustained attention that is rapidly disappearing. Think about the greatest books, art, scientific discoveries, and even the most profound relationships in your life. None of them were created with divided, fractured attention. They required a mind fully anchored in a single pursuit.
So this forces us to look past our own individual habits and recognize the invisible machinery of modern society. Your distraction is not an accident. It is a highly lucrative business model. If your ability to focus is disappearing, where exactly is it going? And more importantly, whose pockets is it lining? Notifications, infinite feeds, and auto-playing videos are weapons in a massive, unseen battle for the most valuable resource on Earth, your focus. We literally live in an attention economy. Your time spent looking at a screen directly translates into revenue for platforms and advertisers. They aren't merely offering you convenience or entertainment. They are mining your daily consciousness.
And this creates a profoundly uncomfortable paradox. We've never been more connected, yet we feel entirely isolated. We've never been more entertained, yet we are chronically fatigued. This is exactly why so many people feel restless during conversations or find long-form thinking completely exhausting. When the constant artificial stimulation disappears even for a moment, we are met with an agonizing withdrawal. Because this crisis, it isn't just about losing a few minutes of productivity at your desk. It's about losing the entire trajectory of your existence. Attention is not merely a tool for getting work done. It is the literal filter through which you experience reality. Quite literally, what you pay attention to becomes your life. While the daily difference between a distracted mind and a focused mind seems small, over a lifetime, the gap becomes remarkably enormous. Just imagine the reactive mind, constantly pulled by the current of notifications, absolutely terrified of silence. Now imagine the intentional mind, able to sit with a difficult problem, deciding actively what to engage with. In a single day, the difference might just be a few unread emails, but compounded over decades, these two minds will live entirely different lives.
Because your attention determines what you remember. It dictates what you value. It decides whether you truly hear your partner when they speak to you. It dictates whether you can learn a complex new skill. It is the invisible force that shapes the actual meaning of your time on this planet.
It's a profound, almost tragic irony, really. For centuries, we built machines to wash our clothes, cars to shorten our travel, and computers to organize our data, all to give us the ultimate luxury, more free time. And what did we do with that hard-won, precious time? We filled every solitary second of it with exhausting, infinite noise.
So the next time you instinctively reach for your phone to escape a quiet moment, I want you to pause. Look at the device in your hand and ask yourself a deeply personal question. When you look down at that screen, are you making a conscious choice, or are you simply following the programming of an interface designed to harvest your time?
We so often think of freedom in terms of physical movement or what we're allowed to say, but today, the battlefield has moved entirely inside our own heads. In a world actively trying to capture and monetize your focus, reclaiming your own mind, sitting in silence and choosing exactly what you care about might just be the most valuable rebellion of the 21st century.